Hey guys, so hope you are doing well today. This is like a list of my goals. I figured what I'd do is I would basically list out my goals so that way you could see the things that I was focusing on, or you can see the things that I'm focused on as we go through this process of me just maxing out my capabilities as a jeweler and then going through the business, understanding the business, documenting my journey, right? At the front of these videos, I'll list out my goals and kind of where I'm at with them. So if you want to see, you can kind of like stop the video and then see, but I'm going to list out everything that's going on. So one thing I want to talk about in this video is the goals themselves. So I talked about them in the video I uploaded yesterday, but I don't feel like it was in a cohesive message to where it was just, it would make sense. So I wanted to revisit that and kind of, discuss my thoughts on what I want to happen next in a very, very like specific way, right? Where I'm at right now, like I communicated, in a lot of ways, I'm starting over from scratch. Tomorrow is Monday, today's Sunday, and tomorrow I'll figure out kind of what's going on with the Kai cast in the oven. Those are two pieces of equipment that I actually need to do the process of casting, but no stress. We'll figure that stuff out tomorrow. So, where I'm at right now, the process of making jewelry. First, there's what you're seeing right now, which is essentially the design stage, where you take an idea and you design the idea. Or you can hire someone who is like a professional jewelry designer to design your jewelry for you. I believe at some point, once I get a little further along, that's the route I'll be taking, to have someone like kind of take my ideas and formulate my ideas into a way that comes up with things that maybe I couldn't come up on my own. I feel like that's a lot of the ways how people come up with these amazing jewelry designs. They hire designers, and the designers take people's thoughts and imaginations and then turn them into things, and then that person takes that item and then turns it into jewelry. But let's take a step back. So first things first, we have jewelry design. So basically what happens is someone will either draw or create the idea that they have for the piece of jewelry that they want to make. The next step after that is then you give it to a CAD designer. A CAD designer takes the idea and turns it into essentially a 3D image in the computer. So they'll take whatever idea you give them and they'll turn that idea into a 3D image inside of a computer that can be exported as what's called an STL form. So they use softwares. I know one of them is Rhino. I don't completely understand all of the systems, but one of them is Rhino. And with Rhino, you can basically design a piece of jewelry inside of a computer software, right? So after you design the piece of jewelry, it's exported as an STL file. So once it's exported as an STL file, that's basically a file that can be taken from its 3D form and printed with a 3D printer as a wax object. So the process of casting jewelry is you take that 3D piece of wax and then put it inside what's called investment, and then it's burned out, and then it leaves a negative impression inside of this investment, and then you pour hot metal inside of it, and that creates the jewelry. So what the 3D printer does is it takes the 3D design that was created by the CAD designer and turns it into a physical wax molding of the design. With that physical wax molding, you then set it up on a sprue tree, and then after you set up on the sprue tree, you basically have, and the sprue tree is like it has like a plastic base. So with that plastic base, you have what is your 3D design transitioned from the design that you've written down on a piece of paper, and you have it on what's called a sprue tree. It's essentially a wax tree that supports the wax object that you just 3D printed with a 3D printer. You take what's called a metal flask, and then you put that onto the plastic base, and then you pour what's called investment in. Investment needs to be mixed a specific way, but think of it as a pancake batter that you put over the wax 3D print, and then that pancake batter or investment will harden, and then after it hardens, then you can put it inside of an oven that whole plastic, well, not the plastic, but it's inside of this metal flask, right? So you take that flask with the dried investment and then you put it inside of an oven. This oven can reach like 2000 degrees inside of it, but for the burnout process, depending on how long you want it to last, at some point the flask will reach maybe around, let's say, 1400 degrees. And then what'll happen is the 3D print that you got made on the 3D printer will then do what's called a burnout, and it will evaporate. So after the item evaporates, or the 3D print, the wax model evaporates, then what happens is you take that hot flask out, you put it onto a vacuum table, and then you pour hot metal in, right? So I know I've said a lot, but I'll walk you through this process so you can kind of see it. With that being said, that's kind of the process of making jewelry. So where we're at right now is the very beginning stages, which is the design stage. So that takes me to one of my goals, 20 pieces created. So I want to have 20 different designs created and made that I can then take through that process of getting turned into CAD designs. And after turned into CAD designs, 3D prints, then casted, and then they'll become jewelry, and then I'll set the stones in them. This design that you're seeing me make right now, like I said, at this point, I've designed 11 designs, and I'm getting to the point where I am more or less running out of ideas. So I'm just like trying things and making designs and doing whatever at this point, right? So with that being said, this design is going to be, it's going to be shaped in a circle. So it's going to be a circle design. But what I want it to be is basically pear-shaped stones in a circle design. So it'll be pear-shaped stones in a circle form, and then I think it'll look cool. I'm going to have small, medium, and large stones, and I think the design will be, I want it just to be uneven. I don't want it to be symmetrical. I want it to be uneven. I just want it to be cool. So I'm just making stuff up at this point. I don't know. Don't mind me. So this is one of my 20 designs, right? Okay, cool. After I get my 20 designs, I want to start working on making the samples, so that way I can have samples ready for when I'm ready to just deliver them to my TikTok affiliates to do videos talking about the quality of the jewelry and different things of that nature. So that leads me to the next thing. First, I have to get approved for TikTok Shop. I'm not quite there yet. I'm almost there. Hopefully in the next week or so I'll be approved, and then I can sell on TikTok Shop. But that's one of my other goals, is to be capable of selling on TikTok Shop. Then after I can do that, I want to get 10 affiliates to sell products on my behalf. So for me to have affiliates, I have to have sample products, so that brings everything kind of full circle. Once I get my 50 products made, my 50 sample products, and then let's say all 10 of my people that sell things from the store have 5 samples each, then they can start making videos, and after they start making videos, start driving traffic to the site, and that'll be like my way of getting sales organically. So between me kind of like documenting and posting and communicating, and then also leveraging TikTok Shop and the support of TikTok affiliates, I'll get my sales. Once I get to the 300 sales, 300 sales is basically like the final goal in the list of upfront goals that I have right now. With 300 sales, my Shopify store's pixel, and a pixel is a form of code that collects information on the things that happen on your website. Once my pixel gets about 300 sales, then I'll be able to start driving traffic for purchases, so that way I can scale the store and then get more sales from running ads, possibly to the videos that were developed from the TikTok Shop affiliates, but we will see kind of what happens. But that's a little bit about how jewelry is made, and then also what my actual goals are. I wanted to make a different video than what I did yesterday because I can see how some of the information I was talking about may have been a little bit confusing, and I was rambling and talking in circles. But yeah, these are my goals. This is how I'm going to do it. This is just frontline goals. So yeah, this is just the beginning. So I'm just working to get these designs made. I'm at like 11. I want smaller pieces, right? So I don't want anything big, and I only want to sell things that I can make multiples of without taking up a lot of time when it comes to the casting and setting. But there's some other adjustments I'm making happen for that sole purpose. But that's basically it for this video. So now you know a little bit more from a story time standpoint of how jury is made, and then also you understand kind of what I'm doing. I'm designing for the list of goals that I have, and then with that being said, in the future we will make jury together. So remember, this is just really the beginning of things. So we'll make jury, and this whole process will make more sense to you. But as of right now, that's kind of what's going on. And then with that being said, that's pretty much it. I will see you guys in a little while. Bye now.